Okay, so this is back to my Cooey 710 project. I've got it setting in that Champion brand Winchester Ranger or 760 blind stock, and I'm just going to show you the fit as is, and then I'll take it apart and show the rest of it. So just hold on a second. Okay, so a few things to note. If that'll focus. Anyway, you'll get the idea. You see this darker area here? It looks like they have multiple different inlets that they can put for different angles and whatever, because it'd be the same base stock. And so this one, the front is pretty close, but the back you can see some steel there, but it still locks down. It's not interfering there. I'll have to sand those out, and those show up again here. That'll have to be sanded off. And underneath where the mag well is all going to be sanded. And this has got my 710 trigger guard on it. If I had a Ranger trigger guard, it would probably fit in there just nice, but I don't. So I'm going to have to epoxy bed this, and you can't tell from this, but the back of the magazine is right even with this hole. So I'm going to put a block in here so that magazine well will take a little bit of recoil, because there's no recoil lug on this. So I'm just going to pause for a second. I'll pull this out of the stock and I'll show you what I had to do to the inside to make this fit. Okay. Get the right angle on this. So this had a kind of a square step with a little notch in it. I had to take that right out, the whole thing, to make room for this spring and this little washer. Now I added that washer because this had a heavier trigger than I wanted, and I couldn't get it adjusted right without putting that in there. So there's that. Now, there we go. This notch right here I had milled in at the gun shop, and this one here I dremeled. Same thing on this side. Got my buddy to mill that little notch, and then I dremeled this corner out. And what those do, the two milled notches are for, just hold on a second. Okay, I think that's a little better. I had to clean the lens. The two milled notches are for this little bolt that goes through, and on this side it holds your bolt release and your ejector, same unit. And on the other side it does your safety. And the little pieces that I dremeled, that's for the travel on that safety bar. And the back of this, I missed it a little bit. I got this, but it wasn't in deep enough. I just had to dremel a little bit for there. So it's fitting in the stock now, and here's where my recoil lug was. Now these have a 700 style recoil lug. This one is broken off. When I first got this from my father-in-law, he gave it to me. I took it to a gunsmith. This is before my buddy was in business. And he mounted the scope, and that was done crooked. And he said he could fix this. I assumed he was going to put a new one on, but he spot welded on both sides, and the first time I shot it, it broke back off. So I just knocked those welds off, and I ground them down and re-glued it here. So the only thing here that's going to take recoil now is this mag well and these two bolts. Now, these bolts were splitting the wooden stock, and that's kind of what fucked the other one. But plastic stock, shouldn't have to worry about that. And I'm going to glue a piece of plastic in there just right so it sets here, and that'll take a bit of recoil as well. And the three of them together should be more than enough. So I'll pause this. I'm going to put it back together, and we'll take it outside in the light. I think we'll get a little better image of it out there. Okay, so here's that rifle out in the sun in all its glory. Start on the underside, as I was saying. It's going to take some sanding. Now this looks like it's crooked, but it's not. This little recess is actually off to one side a bit. So the biggest thing I've got to do is fill around that. And everything up top looks pretty good. That bolt sticks up a bit. It did on the wooden stock as well, but still cycles fine. Now there is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but right there, just the slightest little hole. And when I epoxy bed this, I'm going to fill that. And it looks like it's touching on the left side here, and I think it probably is. I haven't figured out what to do with that yet. I think when I bed it back here, I'm going to shim it off to one side just a little bit. So anyway, if you've got a 710 and you really need a stock for it, the Ranger is an option. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and please like and subscribe and leave me a bunch of comments, and I'll probably not answer them, but you never know, I might. I try to. See you next time.